Good morning, Richard.
Hey
Thank you
Maya,
for being here this morning. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. Um, so I'm just going to kind of go through the list of questions for the round one of our video series. And this is going to give our participants a chance to get to know you kind of like outside of your role and know a little bit more about you as Richard the person, not just Richard, our prescriber. So again, thank you for being here. The first question is, can you just kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your role with OnTrack?
Sure. My name is Richard Collado. I'm sure most of you already know who I am. I'm the lead prescriber on the OnTrack team, and I'm the one that helps manage your medication. And that's me.
Thank you. Our second question is, what inspired you to get into this line of work?
So it kind of just happened spontaneously. I was working as a registered nurse in medicine for a while, and I needed a change in scenery. I didn't think about actually working in psychiatry, but I did see an opening for that. So I applied for the position. I'm working with kids actually. So I worked in child psych for 8.5 years prior, and ended up enjoying it. And that's kind of what inspired me to kind of advance my career and to become an NP.
Cool. Thank you. I also would like to know, do you find this work rewarding? And if so, what parts are rewarding for you?
It's very rewarding, actually. Every time a patient tells me that they feel a little bit better than how they felt before, it kind of makes me feel, gives me that feeling of fulfillment that I'm actually helping somebody. And when I get someone on the right medication and they're able to actually live a fulfilling life and function, to the best of their ability to how they were before that, then it feels great that I'm actually helping someone.
I love that. I can see how that would be a rewarding thing. I know for me, in my own personal journey, I was not always a fan of medication, but when I did find something that worked, that feeling of like being able to share with my doctor and being like, "Hey, this worked." I get that. So thank you for sharing that. Um, what was your journey like getting to this point? Just in general, I know that you said that you kind of like fell into doing this by applying for the job. But like, what was your schooling like? How did the journey look overall for you?
So, so training to become an NP is pretty long. It took about 8 years. Um, it was tough, but it was very fulfilling too. So while I was in school, I was also doing clinical rotations in a psychiatric ER actually. So I saw a lot of very tough cases. Sometimes people very psychotic, and it really gave me understanding for how the body and the mind works together. Um, and I didn't realize how mental illness kind of affected my family. Also, just on a personal note, I never realized that my mother suffered from depression. So that was an eye opener for me when she got very sick towards the end. She actually died this year of cancer. But as she was on her way out, I guess she kind of opened up to me and she mentioned a lot of the things she struggled with. And it was very eye opening for me because I always didn't think that mental illness was in my family. And it was strange that I worked in the field, but I don't know if it was just the fact that I didn't want to believe it, maybe, possibly. And then my mother, it affected me so personally. When my mother was sick, that she had it, and it just opened up how prevalent it is out there, and how much more people I could help, right?
Yeah, I get that. And I have said this before, like I'm sorry about your loss, but I just also want to send you my condolences again. This I know it wasn't from like COVID or anything related. You said you passed away from cancer, but I also lost my mom this year. Well, the woman who adopted me, but she was very much my mom. So we kind
Sorry.
of have that shared pain. Um, but I'm also glad that she was able to open up to you and you kind of give you like insight into, the fact that it did run in your family and kind of like make it more personal. Um, and that's actually leading into the next question of like, what have your own experiences with mental health been like in your own personal life, whether it's like your own mental health or people's mental health around you, like in your family, any siblings or anything like that, whatever you're comfortable, sharing with us.
Sure. So I'm actually in therapy. I have a therapist who I see every week, which is great because it kind of helps me decompress also. So it's hard to help people when you're not helping yourself. So I've adopted a healthy lifestyle. I've trained martial arts for a very long time, actually. Um, so I had that physical part, right, which is like working out and training, but I was neglecting the mental aspect of it, right, which is seeing a therapist and really talking about, the traumas that I had too growing up as a kid, which everyone has trauma, and that's really helped me give better care to my patients, because when my mind is clear and I'm able to kind of understand myself better, that reflects on better treatment for my patients. Plus, I'm not just saying to do things. I'm doing what I'm telling you to do also, right? If I'm telling you to continue seeing your therapist and I'm not seeing a therapist, it kind of, it's a double standard, right? So we're all human, and it's I'm doing what I'm telling you guys to do. I'm doing what I preach.
I hear you. And I think that's great. I love the fact that, you're sharing with us that you yourself have a therapist. And I share that mindset of like, how can I show up as my best self for you if I'm not taking care of myself and making sure that I am being my best self? So I love that. I hope that it's like paying off for you and that it's something that, is worth investing in. Um, so congratulations for
Thank
that. You're
thank you.
welcome. Um, cool, cool, cool. So I guess that kind of answers the next question. We've been doing really good with like segueing, because the next question is, how do you take care of yourself to make sure that your mental health is in good standing? So you did mention like going to therapy, and the physicality that you take care of. Can you say a little bit more about like what you do outside of therapy?
Sure. So I've actually been eating a lot healthier. So I've been having shakes in the morning. Not plugging this company, but Athletic Greens, it's called. It's very good. I feel so. I used to rely a lot on caffeine and coffee, and I've kind of cut down on that a lot. I've also been sleeping at a better time, so I try to sleep around 10 o'clock now, and I wake up earlier. I wake up around 7, and it just feels good to have extra hours because my day starts around 10 o'clock, so I have 3 hours to kind of just do chores, do errands, do whatever it is, meditate, watch TV, and that's good. The 3 hours. So balancing my lifestyle, working out more also is good, and staying away from social media and the news because that can also be a burden, right?
Absolutely. I employ that last one too. Like you have to know when enough is enough. And I also wanted to ask you a little bit about, I'm not sure if you used to do MMA or like what it was that you used to do, but can you kind of like speak on that and what you used to do? Because I always thought that that was interesting, and our participants might also find that interesting about you.
Sure. So I actually used to be a professional fighter when I was younger. I've been doing martial arts since I was 9 years old, and it was in the family. My uncle had a martial arts school, so I used to fight Muay Thai, compete in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and I actually used to fight in a cage, mixed martial arts. Believe it or not, very different. I was very different back then, but it was balanced. I enjoyed it at that time. I traveled. I fought in different places also, which was a good experience. And as I got older, I realized that I needed to protect my brain, and it was a young person sport, so I stopped and I kind of transitioned to what I'm doing now. But I still do train regularly. I do believe that martial arts training is great for everybody. So I still kind of do it on a
That's
regular basis.
thank you. Um, and yeah, like just coming back around full circle to what you were saying before, like having a balanced lifestyle, making sure you're getting enough sleep, eating right, taking care of your body, taking care of your mind. I think that you are like on track, to like
Thank
take
you.
care of yourself at like overall. So that's really good to hear. Um, so I'm also interested in knowing, I guess, like what kind of hobbies do you have besides, the working out and stuff? Are there any things that you like to kind of like indulge in? Do you have any like guilty pleasures?
So pre-COVID, I used to travel a lot. I would usually go on vacation every couple of months. I've been to Peru. I've climbed Machu Picchu. I've been to Bali, Indonesia, which is amazing. I've been to Rome. I've been to so many places. Traveling is one of my passions. So whenever I can travel, I like to experience and see the world as much as I can. I'm also a voracious reader. I read a book about every week, regardless if it's on psychiatry or dinosaurs or some crazy conspiracy theorists on UFOs. I read all that stuff. It's very interesting to me. Um, I'm kind of a geek too. I used to build computers and I play video games. So I do a lot of things. Do a lot of things.
What kind of video games do you like?
Uh, I play a lot of Call of Duty. I know a lot of people kind of don't like that game, but my girlfriend's always like, "Who are you screaming at?" And it's me playing online with other people. Yeah.
I love Call of Duty, so that just like made the my inner gamer girl very excited. I'm not good, and I said this in my own interview. Like I'm not very good by any means, but like I definitely like playing zombies. There's something kind of like cathartic about just being able to like go let off some steam. So that's really cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Um, And then, what are some things that you do to keep yourself laughing or smiling? And this question comes from just kind of like being mindful of like we need to be able to laugh and smile despite like all the bad that's going on too. So, do you have any things that you do in particular to make sure that you still are kind of like experiencing that joy?
A lot of gifts and a lot of memes with my friends. So we always kind of send each other gifts and funny memes or funny 90s references or whatever it is. So I'm pretty much always laughing and smiling for the most part. But yeah.
That's great. I love to hear it. Friends are so important these days, like even more so than, I mean, they've always been important, but like just being able to connect now, like while we're in this weird limbo of a time. So I'm glad to hear that you are still connecting with people and, you know, doing your part to uplift each other and make each other laugh. And that's great. So on that same note, our last question is kind of just asking, what is one happy memory that you will take from 2020 into the future, despite all of the change and loss and all of the like negative stuff that's come out of this year? What's something positive that's come out of this year that you will like take with you?
Oh my God, 2020 it felt like it's been a decade.
I did.
Let me see before COVID started. Hmm, wow. So I guess a positive thing is I don't want it to be cliche, but actually going full time working with Child Center, it really is a great company to work for. And I've been working in psychiatry for a long time, but finding a job and a career now where I feel like I've kind of got my groove and I work with a great team. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm happy to go to work and see everybody. And so I think that's a positive considering that right now I'm working from home, but I still enjoy seeing everyone's face, whether it's seeing them on Zoom or on Doxy or even hearing their voice on the phone. It's great. So that's a positive. That support actually is helping me get through this pandemic. So it's great.
I love that. And I don't think it's corny or cliche at all. That was very much my answer to like finding this, like this particular team, this particular set of participants that we work with. So I'm glad that that's another thing that we share. Like we've shared kind of like some bad stuff, and we've also shared this feeling of like, well, at least I got this out of this year. And I'm glad that you do feel that support from your work, that you feel fulfilled in your work, and I'm really happy that that is the case for you. So finding that silver lining in a year full of negatives and bad is good. So thank you so much for sharing all of this and for allowing our participants to see you in a different light. I know not everybody works with everyone or doesn't get to work with all of our team members in the same amount of time, the same capacity. So I hope that they also feel like they got to know you in a different way, because I feel like I've learned some stuff about you that's really cool. So it's really great that you did that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing yourself with us. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Maya. Thanks for having me. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.